about to fall asleep, like the lights go on, off, on, off.
Oh,
on,
dear.
off.
You were alone, right?
I was alone. That room, there was like a suicide or something like that. Yeah. Hi, my name's Utt.
My name is Raihan,
My name is Wayne.
My name is Kyle.
and this is Tales from Incredible Tales. Together with some very special guests, we are taking a look back at Incredible Tales, a horror anthology that aired on Channel 5 from 2004 to 2017. We will also ask our guests some of their very scary stories.
Utt, the host of Incredible Tales throughout its 13 years, is back with us again for this episode. Hi, Utt.
Hi,
Hi, guys. What do you think about the number 13?
Oh, I love it.
So you find it lucky?
My birthday is on the 13th.
Oh.
I guess I'm born to do this. I'm born to do horror. Yeah. My 21st birthday was actually on Friday the 13th.
Oh, you're
Yeah.
really born to do this.
I don't know. It's really strange, right?
We couldn't write a better origin story for you.
Right? I've always never had a problem with the number 13. I never really understood why people like found it unlucky.
Yeah.
It's a westernized thing,
I think
isn't
it's
it?
a Western, you're right, yeah.
Because here it's like 4 is the unlucky number, right?
4, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, 4.
Yeah, but anyway, welcome. In every episode of Tales from Incredible Tales, we'll explore a different theme and how it ties to the classic Incredible Tales episodes.
So for this episode, we're looking at ghostly job hazards. This episode's theme was inspired by Taxi, The Lift, and Previous Tenant from season 1. Taxi tells the story of a cabbie who hits a young lady, flagging him in the middle of the night. To his horror, he discovers that the lady he hit has been dead for 3 days from a stab wound. Since that day, he and his wife have become the target of a curse from the dead lady in a red shirt. In The Lift, a power plant worker is alone on a graveyard shift in the middle of the night, but he soon realizes that he was never alone to begin with. Previous Tenant is about a man who rents an office in one of the posh buildings in Singapore. One night, he gets a call from a client, not his, but of the former tenant who died a year ago. According to the client, he has been talking to the previous tenant all along, as recently as a week ago.
So let's take a look at the episodes.
I wanted to stop for her, but that would mean missing my reunion dinner. So I decided not to. At first, I thought it was probably my tired mind playing tricks on me. I decided not to pick her up either.
I'm having goosebumps, guys. My heart is
It doesn't help that it's
so
raining,
fast.
It's raining.
Exactly.
You can hear the rain.
And after 3 episodes of those, and by the way, those are the 3 most, for me, worst fears that could happen, because it could happen anytime. You're in the lift, because you do take lift when you go home. You're driving at night, and when you're in office alone.
They're all relatable situations.
Yeah.
Situations.
It's funny because like when we were rewatching these episodes, I realized that Taxi One was the first episode of Incredible Tales I remember watching.
Really?
Yeah. And it's not like I picked it because like, we got to get the first episode I ever watched. It was only when we were rewatching, I was like, that was the first one I ever watched. Yeah. And I think I think the fact that it's slightly comedic kind of hooked me as well because it's that nice balance between horror and comedy. So
I think the way it's shot, it's very interesting going back to watching these episodes.
Yeah.
I mean, I think when you actually watch it, it's scary.
Yeah.
But because it's so nostalgic, so going back to certain moments,
Yeah.
it's just like it brings you back, and for me, it's a bit comedic. But that was really cool to watch.
Were you there at the location itself? You were.
I think the host links, yeah, but not the reenactments itself.
And did anything happen to you? Because I think those places that you were at were really, really scary.
These were more tamed. Interestingly, when it's like situations that you can relate to that we're talking about, whether you're in office or you're driving on the roads, the situations are more tamed speed in the sense where it's like as a scale from like 1 to 10, it's probably like a 3 or 4 for me.
Yeah.
So,
So like
3 or 4 on an
Wow.
incredible scale.
yeah, on the incredible scale. Yeah.
Okay.
But I have had that situation where, like, personally, I've had that situation where I had been on the road and then just felt like it was never ending, and then it felt like a deja vu. Like I kept on driving on the same road over and over. I've had that personal experience myself.
Oh my God.
Where was that?
In Phuket.
Oh.
Yeah, I was doing a travel show. So on the way back after our shoot, we were meeting the crew at the restaurant, and me being adventurous and hyperactive, I'm like, I'll meet you guys there. I'm gonna rent a moped. So like, I had my cousin with me. So luckily, it's not a figment of my imagination unless it was a figment of our imagination. So she sat in the back, and literally we were just going on this road. And I remember we saw an uncle. Not exactly the same as what we watched, but it's like we passed him twice. But we passed him already.
Was he a creepy uncle? Did he
No,
look
he was a
just
normal uncle, but the uncle didn't creep me out. What creeped me out was the fact that you feel like you're in the twilight zone.
Yeah.
Right,
Because it
right.
just happened. You're like, I just passed this road. Am I on the same road? What, you know,
Yes.
I just saw the uncle. It took me to kind of get my head together and ask my cousin, and she was speechless. And it felt like we were on the roads for the longest time, like for an hour plus.
Oh, wow.
But then we were actually, by the time we got to the restaurant, it was only like 15 minutes had passed.
Oh.
Wow.
15 or 20 minutes.
And it didn't help that like it was in like a undeveloped area, right? You were riding through an undeveloped area.
So it's not underdeveloped, but it can be dark because it was like in the evening, very foresty, but the road is fine. It's just that the terrain is not. You can go up, down, and it curves. And then you'll notice like along the way in Thailand, you'll see trees and a lot of things that are given to that spot as like an offering.
Right.
So like every now and then you might see it. You'll see like, you know, either it's like outfits or like garlands and that's when you know that there's been a lot of accidents at that particular
area.
spot.
It's for the spirits that's lingering there or like the deceased.
I think it had to do with the fact that I was playing around a lot during the day, during the shoot.
Right.
And the fact that when I've since been very conscious of it, like, you know, as a host or as an actor, where when you're in different spaces, different places, different countries, you need to pay your respects because you're working with energies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And nothing happened after that.
No, nothing happened. So, yeah. But that was creepy enough.
Right. Yeah. Speaking of scary places to drive in Singapore, I have one. Not sure whether you guys have been there. Jalan Ibadat. It's
Jalan
near the Home Team Academy.
No.
Oh,
That
near,
road
I have
has
a
strap.
near the Lim Choa Chu Kang Cemetery.
Yes,
That
yes. Literally driving beside a cemetery. There's always something about that place that makes me feel eerie. Especially because
Yeah.
I ride. And you ride at night, everything is open. You know, you can feel the cold wind. And you can definitely feel like someone's watching you or someone is around you. I've heard stories of having an extra passenger while driving there or riding there.
Yeah.
And that passenger is an unwanted passenger or someone who you least expected.
But why were you driving there?
Oh, because that's the shortcut to like a very quiet place to drive, especially if you need some peace at night. But I guess it's not really peaceful if you have.
The long.
It's a long stretch.
Yeah, the long stretch beside. So on your left should be the Chinese cemetery.
Yeah.
Then on the right is the camp, right?
It's the camp.
It's the camp. Then further down is the Muslim one, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's really all the way.
They have exhumed most of it already lah.
Yeah.
They cleared it to build more
Yes.
camps.
Built more camps, which I think
100,000 graves. Can you imagine? They exhumed 100,000 graves. So the camp will be extra haunted.
I agree. Yeah. Because I have a story.
Oh.
But it didn't happen in Jalan Ibadat. Okay. It happened around my old house, which is at Bedok. I think there's something about Bedok.
Yeah. I'll tell you later.
I was actually behind. Back then, my father was a lorry driver. So I was sitting behind. It was an open lorry.
Yeah.
It was really late at night. And I was really young. So while he was driving, I smelled I smell,
Frenchy Penny.
yes, it smells sweet at first.
Yeah.
And then it turned into very, very, very
The rotten smell, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And because I was really young, so I didn't know. So I actually mentioned it out. And my brother was with me. He knows like things. And I just said, oh, what's that smell? And he just looked at me and said, don't speak of anything. And I didn't understand why.
Yeah.
So until I went back home, I couldn't sleep that night. And I was having trouble sleeping. So my father had to do some prayers on me. And then that's when I slept. But the next morning, my father said that night, he heard someone outside of our house walking around the corridor at a very slow pace. Like something is waiting for me outside.
Kakak
I have no idea.
probably.
And I've heard that place has an old cemetery there that they now built a hill.
Oh,
For
no,
people
actually,
to
actually,
jog.
Bedok a lot of cemeteries.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you guys as well, because both of you mentioned that, like you on the moped and you ride as well. I hear a lot of riders talk about, like, a lot more riders than drivers talk about how they've experienced stuff. Do you guys notice that as well? Like, instead of driving a car, if you're on a bike, you almost feel more susceptible to it.
I think you feel more bare.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like if you're in the car, then basically you can be scared, but you kind of feel more sheltered.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because the cold wind plays a part.
Oh,
Makes you feel chilly at night.
Especially when you're alone, right?
Especially when you're
Somebody can see, you know?
Yeah.
If you've seen those old movies, right, the spirit will glide down from the tree. Woo! Then
Yes. That kind of feeling, that kind of thoughts.
Oh,
and then
that's
especially when you
creepy.
try to look at the side mirror just to glance back, and then you just try not to. Hopefully, nothing is behind you as you glance back. So that's the.
Are you riding back later on?
I am.
I'm so sorry for Kyle.
So those are one of the roads. Now let's go back. Let's go to the other area that we talk about, which is the lift. Okay, I still get scared of lifts, especially if they're old industrial lifts.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
There's just that vibes. Even though maybe it's not there, but it's just that vibes there. Have you had any experiences in lifts?
Not spirit-wise, but just being stuck in a lift.
Oh,
Yeah.
Also frightening.
that's frightening.
That is
Yeah,
frightening,
well,
right?
because I get claustrophobic.
Right.
So that was more like a panic attack.
Oh, God.
So I think the longest I've been stuck in a lift was like 2.5 hours.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Alone?
No, I was with my brother. And it's funny, it's like kind of like a few minutes into it, I'm like, we were telling each other to chill because like the lights went off and everything. And then it's funny because he tells me not to yell or scream. We need to conserve. Let's just figure this out. And then a minute into it, he goes, help, help. So he's telling me, but then he freaks out. But eventually, I guess we got someone, and then they informed us that they talked us through it. It was a bowling alley in Thailand.
I mean, to be fair, 2.5 hours in a lift. Yeah. Even if you weren't claustrophobic, holy cow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I have a story of a lift. It's a warehouse lift. So this actually happened a couple of years ago, like two years ago. During the pandemic, there were a lot of live streams. So I was doing a live stream with my friends. So that particular lift, I think one of the crew members was with me. That lift, right, that warehouse lift, right, was extremely dark. Like the light was as dim as this, super dark. Only one source of light, and then the lift was black in color.
Oh.
Yeah. So and the lift was extremely slow. So from first floor to the 7th floor, right, it took about close to 1.5 minutes. I don't know why. It's just slow. And then it was going up, right? I could feel like, because I have the sense, I could feel something was there. And I was just like, bro, not today. I need to work, man. I'm not today. And then, right, suddenly the lift just,
Oh.
It shook.
it got stuck for like half a second. And then it just, it's like something jammed for a while and then it went out. I was like, wow, this is not normal. Because after that thought, right, it did that. Then I was like, this is not normal, man.
Yeah.
Then I did a live stream and it was in the day, by the way. So the studio was like the top floor of the whole warehouse. And then because my mouth is itchy, so sometimes I say things that I shouldn't. So I just asked my friend, I say, I feel like your studio a bit, And then my friend is also in the film business. He's like, let's not talk about it. It's like, it's not clean, this place.
Oh.
And I say, why, haunted? They say, yeah. And they say, I asked lah. I asked. Then he say, don't say already. He say, I can only tell you that the receptionist is a Thai person who saw something. Then immediately, right, after that, I went home, right, I slammed on my finger for some reason. The door slammed on my finger for no reason. Like I was just like opening the door and then the wind, pum, then my fingers got swollen. Then I said, I guess that's a punishment. One time, it was a one-time thing. I said, okay lah, you finger okay lah. As long as it doesn't drop off, it's fine.
Oh wow, it's giving you a warning.
Yeah, I because I said something I shouldn't. Yeah, because it's not my business. I was just like curious. Because you can tell like if a place is not clean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, next up is about office.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure all of us have stories of haunted office. I've remembered one of my back then when I was in another office. My friends told me, "Don't go home later than 7 p.m." And I'm like, "Why? Why not? I just want to stay here and do my work." I said, "No, you don't go home after 7 p.m." And of course, I follow them. I don't get to stay. But yeah, I've heard stories from them.
I've heard stories about MediaCorp, like
The old
one.
Yeah.
The old one.
The campus they were talking about is the old one in Caldecott Q. I remember when we were in film school, we actually visited MediaCorp as part of a learning experience. So we bumped into a radio DJ, and then the radio DJ said, this radio tower is famously haunted, and there's a big tree just right in front of it beside the art department, and the art department also apparently some of the set designs will come to life at night. Yeah, so it's that whole place because it went through the World War. It was I think it was like an office for the Imperial Japanese occupiers and stuff. So a lot of things happen. There's I think a family of British spirits also. So it's very well documented thing. And then there was a very famous photo of another radio DJ who took a photo, and so you can see half I think a body without a head. It's on the internet. Yeah. Later I show you. It's creepy. It's creepy.
I was about to say the moment the cameras cut, all of us going to be like, which DJ was it?
It's creepy. It's creepy. Yeah. It's very well documented.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I've heard a lot of stories from my friends who work at MediaCorp. They say, sometimes when they shoot till late, they have sets Then they can see people that don't belong to the crew there loitering around. But they know they are not human, but they just like don't care like. We done what we can, but you can't stop them.
Yes.
They're there longer. So it is just what it is.
It goes back to the history of the place, the space.
Yes.
Yeah. So there's a lot of what Kyle said basically because the Japanese used to stay there and the war and everything. So a lot of history, but there's a lot of stories from there. Yeah.
Speaking of which, because the psychologist Dr. Mel Gill, he mentioned that, he explains that ghosts are just residual energy, and anyone who has this energy are more likely to feel it. Do you agree in that theory?
Anyone who has
the kind of same energy
can sense it.
Yes.
I'm just saying it from my own personal experience.
Right.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think it's an energy thing. I'm sure everyone has had that one experience where you got this very bad gut feeling, like a punch in the gut that I shouldn't proceed. I think that's a form of energy.
Yeah.
It's like something that's telling you don't do it. Yeah. It could be, it depends on your belief. It could be religious, it could be spiritual, it could even be like a different dimension, like a different version of you telling you, hey, don't do it. You're gonna die, or don't do it, you're gonna get into an accident. That kind of feeling. And I have a lot of experience where I ignored it and something bad happens. Like it could be like you hurt yourself or you drop something that's very valuable or something like that. So definitely.
Yeah, I agree with Kyle. It's like your instincts usually tells you right, but it's when you overthink, like, wait, did I or did I not, or should I not? And you start to complicate your thought process. So usually that's a form of energy where you know, but you kind of start to question whether you know or not.
Yeah.
I think it does make sense as well, because if you guys are a lot more sensitive than I am, that's for sure, to these kind of things. And I guess it's the level of energy, I suppose, because even me, who I'm not as sensitive to these kind of things, you get those instances like we were saying where it's you walk into a room and it just doesn't feel right, the gut instinct. So yeah, maybe it's just not just the same wavelength, but different levels. Yeah,
It's true, but because when we were talking about like, revisiting those reenactments and like how did I feel being at those locations, and I realized because our degree of our senses is different.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm somewhat desensitized by certain things. So something that would have been on the scale of like at 9 or 10 now becomes like a 3 or 4 for me.
Yeah.
if we ever are in an area and I'm gonna ask you about the scale of the area, I'm gonna take that into account. That I'll have to adjust it a little bit because it sounds like your 5 might be my 9.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, each of us needs to have the incredible skill on us.
Yes. Yeah.
So we can kind of measure.
We're gonna market that along with these
We
podcasts.
absolutely are.
After these months, we're gonna come out with our scale.
Exactly. So what's the creepiest place that you've worked in and did anything happen?
On a different production shoot, and it's with a producer who I worked with before I joined MTV in Singapore. I was the resident MTV VJ for Thailand for a particular show called Bangkok Jam.
Yeah.
Bangkok Jam was what initially brought me over to Singapore. So we did, I think we went to Phuket to cover the nightlife there.
Right.
But there was some complication in booking like the accommodation. So we ended up in this like 1 or 2 star accommodation that was like further out. And it was a scene like out of a movie. It was like a small little shop house, very old. It looked like a Wong Kar-wai like movie scene, like very reddish orange. And I remember we checked in, and the first thing I knew, I was like, okay, I'm gonna stay out and party and come back here like the latest I could. And I think we came back around like 2-ish or 3. And my cameraman was like 2 rooms further from me, and then I was 2 rooms away, and then my producer, she was like 3 rooms away from me. She's always heard stories about me. I mean, at that time we worked with each other for 2 years already.
Right.
And going back to the first episode where we were talking about mirrors, right?
Yeah.
So it's a huge mirror right in front of the bed.
Oh no.
I mean, that's already gone wrong.
Oh God.
But I was really tired because we did like a lot of shoots.
Yeah.
So I'm like, this time around, it's like, because I wasn't playing around. I already knew walking in and everything. It doesn't take in someone of my experience. You would walked in and you would smelled it right away. You'd be like, no, I'm not staying here.
Yeah.
But yeah, I already knew to pay my respects, whatnot. And then right when I about to fall asleep, like the lights go on, off, on, off.
Oh,
on,
dear.
off.
You were alone, right?
I was alone.
Oh, no.
I was alone in the room. I just felt that it was not the right place to be, because it's like when you can feel energies, and I know it was not a positive energy.
Yeah.
Because the energy is like too strong.
Yep.
So I actually picked up the phone, I think, and I called my producer. I called my cameraman.
Right.
Like, I think he fell asleep. I don't know how. And I called my producer, and I'm like, I'm coming over.
Right.
And she's kind of confused, and then I hung up the phone, and I was walking out, the lights went on and off again. And then I walked through the hallway, and then I knock on her door, and then right when she opened it, the hallway went on, off, on, off.
Oh,
My God.
And then, like, she knew.
Yeah.
And this is someone who's never had any experience and, like, was kind of, like, not a believer. And then, like, she just, like, we just hugged each other. And I think we went to the reception after that.
Yeah.
And then, because like it gets to a point where I'm just very matter of fact, because it's like I don't have time to like deal with like, oh no, we can change your room. And it's kind of like I'm just like, hey, I have a third eye. I know what's going on. Like, what's up with my room? What do I need to do? Where's the altar?
Right.
So at first like they did the pleasantries, but then they got it. And then I just went up to the altar upstairs. And I think that room, there was like a suicide or something like that.
God.
Yeah. Because I just need to get to the bottom of it. I'm like, I need to know.
Yeah.
Because I need to know what I need to do.
Yeah.
And this is not new to me.
Yeah.
So just get to the point.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's my story that you wanted to know.
No, it's creepy because to set some context, actually in Thailand, most hotels will have an altar. They usually hide it. It's either on the roof or like at the corner of the building. The altar is for the resident spirits.
Mine was at the roof.
Yeah.
Basically, they directed me to the roof. So that's where I pay the respects and everything. So my producer to this day, like she, doesn't let up on that story. She goes like, I spent my whole life never having any experience, and then you had to give me this.
It's fated, man. It's fated. It's fated. Yeah.
I've got one experience in Wales.
You always say like you don't have, but you.
Yeah, I do.
Unpacking, he's like, I've got one. Okay, let's go.
It just pumps up because I remember when I was traveling to Wales in UK. It was an Airbnb. I was staying there for one night, and it was a very old cottage. I was staying with the owner of the house, but I was put up at the attic. That's where I was sleeping in. Yeah. So I was traveling. I had no idea that anything would ever disturb me. So that night, while I was sleeping, I suddenly felt like something was on top of me.
Right.
And I was suffocating. I was trying to move, but I couldn't. And I really was struggling. So I said some prayers, and then suddenly, I just woke up. And then when I woke up, I was still frozen. And then was like, I didn't know there were ghosts here. I'm in a Western country. Usually in Asian context, we see more of them.
Yeah.
I didn't know that there will be an experience there.
But that was it lah. Like it was just like the.
Oh, I didn't know. That was it.
I like how you're like, that was
That was it.
No. I mean like he said, right? Like for us, it's okay lah. That one quite normal. That one quite normal.
That's a 9 to me.
It's like maybe a 4.
It's like if we were like eating like really spicy.
Yeah.
Me and Kyle are like super hot.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So like, that's like pretty.
Yeah, that's pretty terrible.
I like how the two of you are like, oh, that's a 9 for you. That's like a Tuesday.
Yeah.
So this is a question for all of you. Would you rather deal with an angry supervisor or a ghost in your workplace?
Wow. Okay. Right now lah, given what I do for a living as a horror creator, I would deal with a ghost. Cause for the content. See the things that we do for you all.
I don't know. For me, I'd rather deal with the ghost. As cowardly as I am, I don't think ghosts are ever going to be as passive aggressive as some of the supervisors I've ever had. So yeah, I'd rather deal with the straightforward ghost. Like you said, get to the point. Who do I need to talk to about this? What do I need to do? Supervisors, they just roundabout and everything. No, ghost.
I agree.
Yeah.
Same. Yeah, absolutely. Probably like the ghost just disturbs me once.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah.
But an angry supervisor is going to remember you for forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A ghost.
We're all on the same page.
Definitely on the same page.
Yeah.
Because when you deal with someone physically, it's different.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'd rather deal with non-physical.
Yeah. I think there should be a message to all you supervisors
Yes.
out there.
Yeah, this is a message right there.
What does this say that we all rather deal with the ghost? All right. It's that time again, guys. Let's hear our morbid fact of the day, Kyle.
So this episode's morbid fact is actually from Japan, right? The Japanese have one specific word for overworking. It's called karoshi. Basically, it means that you die from overworking.
Literally die
Yeah.
from
Wow.
overworking.
Yeah.
It's a bit disturbing that they have an actual word for it.
Means it's very common then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is. It
Their
is.
word.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah.
I mean, we don't have a word for it, but sometimes I feel like work is the word for dying.
But honestly,
from
if you
overwork.
see a salary man, like a spirit of a salary man, I don't think I'll be scared. I'll feel sad for the guy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, I work until I die.
Yeah.
And then you work after you die as well.
They go back to work.
Yeah.
They go haunt their supervisors.
Did you know that with the suicide rates in Japan, the protocol, the law is basically anyone who kills themselves because it's so high that the family has to pay
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Or for anything that's incurred from the suicide.
Oh no.
So sometimes the suicide happens in a way where they want to punish the family too. So sometimes.
Oh my God.
Oh, that's a bonus morbid fact.
Yeah, I was about to say, you took a morbid fact and then you just made it more morbid.
Yeah.
All right, so another great episode. Thank you so much. And thank you all of you for tuning in to Tales from Incredible Tales. New episodes go up every Thursday evening on YouTube and MeWatch and on podcast platforms such as meLISTEN, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts.
My name is Utt.
My name is Wayne.
And my name is Kyle.
My name is Raihan. We'll see you next time.